gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́mọ pẹ́rẹ́ àmì padà ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá àjàmọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ abú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rìn wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mí àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró ń títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lódò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, Koikimedia. Koikimedia, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwa sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, Koikimedia, Koikimedia. Closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before them to sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before them to sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán ọ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa. Ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè gbó Odùduwà.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí. Ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o. Má bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi. Ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbàjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ. Àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. gbọ́dọ̀ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó ń kan gé oko lára ni.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹ gbé polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà la gbé dání òtítọ́ la gbé dání.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sódì kẹta.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán a tún pèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media we bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us
But there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that.
But
that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what ORILEEDE did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
she has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it.
Prof,
and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
and so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Prof, you were a strong member.
You cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to self-determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member of the Unity Party of Nigeria, also a very strong member of Afenifere. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, in these two ideological positions?
Yes, our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing, talking about restructuring, so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians. They still have a right to come to Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate, so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms, and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that Tinubu is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. You are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our...
Well, Prof, let me ask you this. Self-determination,
you are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion, but what I'm saying is that your opinion rigorously avoids the truth. Rigorously.
Well, Prof,
avoids the truth.
Nigeria as Onigo Tite told us in his research on ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, has over 300 ethnic nationalities. Will you recommend self-determination to all the other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria? For all these nationalities to break away?
Those who want it those who want it, don't ask me a general question. I'm asking for self-determination for a nation, the Yoruba nation. There are about 60 million people in Nigeria, and their territory is large enough to be a large country. So that's what I'm talking about. Any other nationality in Nigeria that wants self-determination is free to ask for it. I cannot come and ask for self-determination for nations that are not mine. No.
Well, Prof, as we have this, we're having this conversation. You are in Kutu.
Regional government bill in circulation, if true, overtaken by events. A document alleging to be a bill submitted by Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly seeking to reverse and to amend the 1999 Constitution and give regions independence from the central. In other words, going back to regional government arrangement. It's in circulation all over the social media. If this bill is true, and I hope it is true, my message is clear that the bill has been overtaken by events. What preponderance of Nigerians need now is not regional government, but they want an independent country of their own. Regional government belongs to the past. Currently, the agitation is for self-determination for all regions, ethnic nationalities wishing to have their own country. Anything short of that is chasing the wild goose and will not pass the passage of time. I will not see the daylight. Indeed, what Nigerians are going through now, the way and manner we are being collectively mismanaged, we are being assaulted, we are being pauperized, we are being reduced into pitiable combustible materials, we are being reduced into beggars, into slaves by the Bola Tinubu regime is emboldening many of us who were formerly against breaking of Nigeria into smaller nations. We are now reversing ourselves. Majority of us, including myself, who was formerly against smaller nations out of Nigeria, is now fully committed to having Nigeria broken into different countries out of choice or out of compulsion, so that we can go and manage ourselves in our own way, in our own speed, in our own style, cognizance of taking into consideration our culture, our beliefs, our socialization, our meaning, if you like. We are tired of a central government where everybody has been made to become a slave. Everybody has been reduced, except the few who are milking the country high, empty, and dry, who are stealing our collective patrimony, collective resources, who are sending us fear and terror, who are deceiving us every day, every night, every hour, every week, every month, all year through. And therefore, those who are thinking that a bill to take Nigeria back to the are doing any favor, they are making the biggest mistake. That is not what Nigerians need. What Nigerians need is dissolution of Nigeria into smaller nations, out of choice or out of compulsion, in peace, not in pieces. Anything short of that will not see the light of the day, will not address the current challenges, will only be postponing the evil day.
And a very good morning and welcome to the 26th day of the month of October 2024. It's just coming up to 6:20 a.m. from London, where this broadcast is coming from. I want us to take a seat and let's enjoy this transmission as we are about to kickstart. This transmission will be more in English, but we would also bring in our beautiful language into it. I will not have the time to be calling your names, but we will appreciate you towards the end of the program. Let's take you to Ile-Ife for the visitation of the Afenifere to one of the most important king in Yoruba land, Ooni of Ife, or Ajala II. I believe this visitation was just about a few days ago, and it is important that there is a lot of moves by different set of people to make sure that the letter and many of our activities as Yoruba people that are calling for the right of the Yoruba to self-determination will be truncated. As we know, Afenifere is divided into two different factions. We have the Baba ADEBANJI faction, and we also have the Baba Fashion-Roti. If we remember, just after the President Bola Tinubu became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Afenifere of the faction of Fashion-Roti that endorsed and supported Tinubu before he became the president after he visited Akure. We know that Baba ADEBANJI did not support Bola Tinubu. In fact, their support went for Peter Obi. But what we know now is that the Afenifere are taking more steps by taking their message to the palace of Ajala II, Ooni of Ife, to try to convince the Kabiyesi to continue to support the One Nigeria, to make sure that One Nigeria will remain one as an entity. This group was led by one of the many of these Afenifere, but also in this visitation is Gbenga Daniel, the former governor of Ogun State and the current senator representing one section of Ogun State. Like I said, if we remember with the image in front of you, on the left-hand side, just after President Bola Tinubu, that is Baba Fashion-Roti on the wheelchair. Next to Baba Fashion-Roti is Oshoba, another former governor of Ogun State. Next to Oshoba is Gbenga Daniel. Let's keep the focus on these four main characters. Bola Tinubu, the president; Fashion-Roti, one out of the leader of Afenifere; Oshoba, another leader and a former governor; and Gbenga Daniel, another leader, a former governor and a current senator. Gbenga Daniel was part of this delegation that traveled to Ile-Ife to visit Ooni of Ife, and we will be letting us know part of the conversation, what was discussed. The question we should ask is, why all these moves? Could there be something that we know or something that we do not know? But one thing is that Kabiyesi Ooni of Ife is quite aware that Nigeria was only amalgamated, even though, according to his throne, Yoruba has been in existence thousands of years before the fraudulent 1914 amalgamation. But what I don't know and what I don't have any evidence is, why would Kabiyesi also want to continue to support the One Nigeria? In this broadcast, I want us to take note that the communication in the palace between the Afenifere and the Kabiyesi was also in English. Let's take a look at Chinese. If one of the Chinese are having a conversation, I'm sure it will not be in their it will not be in English. It will rather be in their language. That is the importance of why the Yoruba of today that believe in self-determination would like Kabiyesi to speak only in Yoruba and get someone to translate. Kabiyesi have no reason to speak in English because English is a borrowed language that was forced on us by the system that we called the monarchy system. I'm also going to take us to what is happening far downtown in Samoa. Samoa is very close to Australia, where the current Commonwealth is going on as we speak. The Commonwealth meeting in Samoa, S-A-M-O. I'll be telling you why King Charles have refused to accept a reparation and apology for the slave trade that took place for a very long time, over 500 years or more. So there's a lot to look into this morning, and I want us to sit back because there's a lot that we want to share, and there's a lot that you will learn as Nigerians, but most importantly as Yoruba. So if you also look at the headline, King Charles only acknowledge the painful past. What are the past? The past of Ooni of Ife now being changed into Nigeria when we should be known as Yoruba as an empire. But today, there is a lot of moves. There is a lot of shake. As we know, Nigeria was only put together by a monarchy system that created a criminal country, a country that is not worth tissue paper. But yet, many of us were told that we should remain one Nigeria. But this morning, I want us to sit back because I'm going to take you through all different areas. King Charles is also representing the monarchy system that created the country known as Nigeria in the fraudulent 1914 amalgamation. Yet, King Charles, according to the headline from the Guardian newspaper, one of the papers in the United Kingdom, King Charles acknowledged painful past as calls for slavery reparations grow at the Commonwealth Summit. Some leaders had hoped King Charles might use his speech at the Kogam in Samoa as an opportunity to apologize for Britain's colonial past. But one thing is, King Charles refused to apologize just as he refused to do the same thing when he traveled to Kenya. Let's see if we can hear a bit of what King Charles said at that particular ongoing event. Once again, this is Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep as we continue to use this platform to educate and bring the consciousness of why the Yoruba needs to exit Nigeria before it is too late. Let's listen, and we'll then take you to Ile-Ife.
You can't tell a lie with a facial expression.
Yes, you can, Jack.
No, you can't.
How are you feeling in all this, Rosie?
Why did they put...
I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate. It is vital, therefore, that we understand our history to guide us to make the right choices in the future. Where inequalities exist, for example, in access to opportunity, to education, to skills training, to employment, to health, and to a planet in whose climate our human race can both survive and thrive, we must find the right ways and the right language to address them. As we look around the world and consider its many deeply concerning challenges, let us choose within our Commonwealth family the language of community and respect, and reject the language of division. None of us can change the past, but we can commit with all our hearts to learning its lessons and to finding creative ways to right inequalities that endure. Nothing, it seems to me, would do so more decisively than to champion the principle that our Commonwealth is one of genuine opportunity for all.
We're going to come back to that later for more analysis. But you've heard what the King Charles, that is currently the King of Britain, the same Britain that forced Kábíyèsí in Ilé-Ifẹ̀ to now speak in English rather than communicate with us in Yoruba. Because as far as we remain in Nigeria, Kábíyèsí will be forced to speak in a language that does not belong to us. So let's now take you to Ilé-Ifẹ̀, where the Afenifere visit. I do not own the copyright to this video, but we will listen to that video without interruption up till about 15 minutes so that we can get a better understanding. I will leave it up to when Benga Daniel was also speaking. Then I'll come back into the conversation. Share the program and invite others to do so. My name is Koiki. Good morning.
Ojú ni wọ́n máa jẹ́ fún kábíyèsí. Àwọn ní gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ Ọ̀túnba Gbénga Daniel. Sínétọ̀ náà tún ni wọ́n sínétọ̀ ni wọ́n ní lọ́wọ́ tá a wà yìí ní National Assembly. Àwọn bàbá wa General Olúbàjọwà retire. Ara àwọn tí àwa ní Yorùbá tí àwọn tí àwa Yorùbá. Ara àwọn tí agbójúlé pé àwa náà tó bá ní ọlọ́mọ ogun àbẹ́ ìlọ́mọ ogun ara àwọn bàbá wa bájọ wà báyìí náà ni àwọn kò pẹ̀lú ọlọ́run ọba ilé ìgbìmọ̀ rẹ̀. Ẹ̀ẹ́dọ́jọ́ kò tí wọ́n àwọn náà ni bàbá wa láti Kàbà ọba Solomon Owóníyì Ọbáró of Kàbà. Ẹni tí ó wà pẹ̀lú ìtọ́jọ́ kò tí wọ́n ọ̀nà ni ọ̀kọ̀wé kan wúrà Dáre bàbá rẹ̀ sá. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ kájọlá ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká máa lépa tẹ̀síwájú fọkàn ire àtòhun tó dára ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀. Afẹ́nifẹ́re Afẹ́nifẹ́re Afẹ́nifẹ́re.
Traditional ruler in Yoruba land, sitting on the most ancient.
For anyone struggling with high blood sugar, do not drink cold water. Did you?
We salute you as the Arole Oodua, the physical and visible symbol of the progenitor of the Yoruba people. You ascended the throne as a young man. We pray to God that He will grant you long life. Amen. So that you can serve our people with the wisdom and sagacity that your assignment requires, to a very ripe old age. As the royal father of our race, you know that the House of Oduduwa is central to the aspirations and well-being of the Yoruba people. That was why, when leaders of the Yoruba people were taking the definite steps to rid our land of British rule, they came to Ile-Ife to receive blessings and validation. That visit of our leaders to this very palace in 1951 is the origin of Afenifere that we still have today. The blessings our leaders received here is still potent and valid till today. It will remain so for centuries to come. Therefore, it is right and proper that we come home to celebrate with our royal father, the Ooni of Ife, to renew the bond of old and to confirm that Afenifere remains faithful to its original tenets. We make bold to say that Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yoruba civilization, is the home of Afenifere. As your Imperial Majesty may be aware, we have taken steps early this year to strengthen Afenifere so that it can better serve the interests of the Yoruba people and Nigeria. This was what led to the creation of the Elders' Council after we abolished the old post of acting leader and deputy leader. This decision has re-energized the organization to achieve better results and serve our people. Kabiyesi, we thank you greatly for preserving and promoting the culture and tradition of our ancestors. We appreciate your role in promoting and upholding the dignity of the Obaship system bequeathed to us by our illustrious ancestors. As you mark your 58th year on earth, we can only say that your reign has just begun. Amen. May God grant you the special privilege to surpass your great forebears in serving our people. Amen. We would like to assure your Imperial Majesty that Afenifere remains committed to the old ideals of democracy, the rule of law, and the creation of an egalitarian society. We are conscious of the challenging times our citizens are passing through, and we appreciate and support the efforts of your son, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in addressing these challenges. We commend the National Assembly for passing the bill on the Southwest Development Commission, SWDC. We look forward to its takeoff and believe it will help Yoruba land to tackle some of the infrastructural challenges we are facing. We thank President Tinubu for the reconstruction of the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. We look forward to the same treatment for Ibadan, Ife, Akure, Owo, Ado-Ekiti, and other highways in Yoruba land. Kabiyesi, we thank God for what He has been using your Imperial Majesty for in the affairs of Yoruba land, Nigeria, and the third world. We we in Afenifere will always be willing and ready to be your partner in progress. We congratulate you again, Your Imperial Majesty. We wish KBSC many more years on the throne of your ancestors. KBSC, thank you very much.
That is the introduction by the Afenifere to the visit to KBSC at his palace, Ajala II. Now, the question is, why is all this being intensified? What is behind the agenda on the 12th of the month of October, this month, under the leadership of Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye? A letter was delivered by Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho to the UK government. And since the 12th of October, we've seen a lot of movement in the southwest part of Nigeria. We've seen a lot of questions. Can we now say that there is a tussle of who will do the needful between Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye and President Bola Tinubu to release the bondage upon the lives of millions of about 60 million Yoruba people in the present Nigeria and the millions Yoruba in the diaspora? I want us to take careful consideration that two agendas is playing out simultaneously. One of the agenda is self-determination, to free the millions of Yoruba people that their rights have been taken with the so-called amalgamation that was put together by Britain in 1914. But there is another agenda of keeping Yoruba people in one Nigeria, and that agenda is being controlled, manipulated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I want us to deliberate within ourselves. Why do we have these two different agendas? Out of these two agendas, which of the one do you think is right? Should Yoruba people remain in the one Nigeria under President Tinubu's agenda? Or should the Yoruba people exit Nigeria peacefully under the leadership of Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye? I will leave that for you to ponder on. I'll leave that for you within your household to deliberate. Tinubu will only be in power for 8 maximum years should he wants to keep us in Nigeria. Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye might not be in power, but is putting a legacy that will give the Yoruba people a sovereign country of theirs, their true identity, and meaningful to the world that exists today. So the question then is, what is the game plan between Afenifere now pushing further and trying to bring Kabiyesi on board to continue to support and endorse Yoruba people in one Nigeria. The Afenifere knows quite well that our existence within Nigeria is creating a lot of uncertainty. And if we do not exit now, it might be a painful task. On the 12th of October has now brought in many Yoruba elder stakeholders moving faster to make sure that the quest and the right of the Yoruba people will not come to pass. Why is Bola Tinubu, the current president, putting Afenifere of fashionable faction to push the agenda to keep Nigeria together? Is it because the Afenifere prefer that Tinubu is the president, but it would only last for 8 years, and they will decide what we, the Yoruba, would love to be after Tinubu has completed his 8 years? And that is the reason why they refuse to support and endorse the quest and the right of the Yoruba people to self-determination. I asked again, who is the enemy of the Yorubas today? Or who are the enemies? Who are those that doesn't want the Yoruba to exercise their right among countries of the world as an independent sovereign country? Is it the kings, the ballets, the politicians, the international community? But we must continue to remind Kabiyesi or Jaja II that self-determination under Article 3 represents the indigenous people. And if I am right, indigenous, according to the English dictionary, means originating or occurring naturally in a particular place. We, the Yorubas, are indigenous people. We are distinct social, cultural groups. We share collective ancestral ties, not with the Igbos, neither with the Hausas or the Fulani or the English. Our ancestral ties is linked to the land, which is the southwest part of Nigeria. And I want us to take note that Kabiyesi should understand that what agenda between these two elder stakeholders, Akintoye is an elder stakeholder, and we can also say Tinubu is an elder stakeholder. But two of them are pushing for something. Which one has the right weight? And who should Kabiyesi endorse? Should Kabiyesi continue to endorse Bola Tinubu shenanigans by putting together Afenifere to visit Kabiyesi and continue to convince Kabiyesi that the Yoruba that are indigenous people should remain in one Nigeria? Again, the meaning of indigenous. Indigenous peoples are distinct social and cultural groups that share collective ancestral ties to the land and natural resources where they live, occupy, or from which they have been displaced. The Yorubas are indigenous people, but yet Afenifere is pushing for one Nigeria. Let's take you back to the last part of the video and hear more from the conversation between Afenifere of Fashionroti with Kabiyesi Ooni of Ife at Ile-Ife. My name is Koiki. Who, again, among the Yorubas are against Yoruba having its own independent country so that we can exit together and form our own country? We heard at the beginning how Kabiyesi and the rest of the visitors played the same thing that we play on a daily basis before we start the program, which is the Yoruba national anthem. But Kabiyesi knows quite well that across the Yoruba land today, that is not the official anthem. The official anthem remained the Nigerian anthem that is forced on every single one of the Yorubas. But is Kabiyesi not going to be pleased and happy to know that during his reign, that the Yoruba anthem will be the official anthem and the Yoruba language will be the official language in communication among every Yorubas? You will listen to Kabiyesi himself, but the question is, why should Kabiyesi communicate with us in English rather not in our own beautiful Yoruba language? I want many Yorubas that are still against the self-determination to understand that only self-determination will give us that right that freely determine our political status away from the corrupt, fraudulent, current dispensation of the one Nigeria that has failed to work. Self-determination will give the indigenous Yorubas our true economic that will work for us under our own government, that would also value our social and cultural development. One Nigeria will not give all these. And this takes us to the next part of the program. Let's listen again from Ile-Ife.
Your Imperial Majesty, Prof. Adeyeye, Arule Oòduà, Olófin Àdìmúlà, Ọ̀jájáde second. Oluwole of Ife. We are presenting this commemorative flag on behalf of.
Again, these are Yoruba kings speaking in English, using English, a borrowed language, forced by the monarchy and the colonial masters. Our kings are not communicating in a language that is beautiful like what we are saying on most of our platforms, but they will rather throw that into the bin. The Kabiyesi that is speaking right now started well with Yoruba, then went back into English. You can see the reason why only a true Yoruba independent country will stop all that. Our Kabiyesi do not, even if they are well read and educated, which most of them are, does not need to speak in English to communicate with us and the audience and any visitors to the palace. But what the Obas have been told is that continue to speak in English because that keeps Britain happy and that keeps the world going. And these are many concerns from many of us that are asking for right to self-determination is not just about the Fulanis that are attacking us in the farm. It is about the true meaning of who we are, our true identity. And we must understand that. Let's go back to Ile-Ife and hear more from what is happening with the visit of Afenifere, fashion-roti version or fraction to Oni of Ife, Kabiyesi.
Led by our leader, Chief Fasoro.
You have the Oba giving us the clear picture now that their leader that could not visit with them because of old age, but he was able to visit Tinubu, the president, in Asoro some few months back. Their leader have sent them to communicate with Oni of Ife to keep Yoruba people within Nigeria. But that is what I'm looking at from this, because all these that is playing out is because of these. One letter has now forced Afenifere out of their seat to run to Kabiyesi and plead with him not to endorse Yoruba nation, but rather to keep us together in one Nigeria. So these individuals are working on behalf of fashion-roti. Remember, they are still our elders. But are these elders taking us to the right place? Or are they taking us into the deep that we might find it difficult to pull out if care is not taken? Because the more we remain in Nigeria, the stronger the Fulani's agenda will become. Let's go back again to Ile-Ife and listen more.
Who our Baba here is representing. I think we are doing this principally, sir, to showcase your performance to the whole world, to appreciate what you have done for us, and especially those of us who are Yorubas, not in the Western region, Diaspora. That you have been able, not Diaspora, sir.
Did you see how the diaspora were bounced out of the conversation? The Oba was even reminded that the diaspora, but this Oba threw that out of the basket. Said, no, not the diaspora. Eyomo Yoruba Tewa Nita, I'm going to rewind that part. I want us to take a little listening ears. Remember that we are the one keeping Nigeria together today, with the diaspora funding that even the CBN, the central bank, under Cardoso, want more of our funding. But look at how this Oba trashed the diaspora. He was even told that the diaspora, he said, no, there's nothing called diaspora. That is the reason why you can see that our people at home have been suppressed and marginalized. Let's listen again to what that Oba said when the diaspora was mentioned.
Your Imperial Majesty, sir, Ọba Adéyẹyè Ẹnìtàn Ògúnwùsì Àrólé Oòduà Ọlọ́fin Àdìmúlà Ọ̀jájá the second. Oluwole of Ife. We are presenting this commemorative flag on behalf of Afenifere, led by our leader, Chief Fasoro, who our Baba here is representing. I think we are doing this principally, sir, to showcase your performance to the whole world, to appreciate what you have done for us, and especially those of us who are Yorubas, not in the Western region, Diaspora. That you have been able, not Diaspora, sir.
When he was told, and the diaspora, he said, not the diaspora, but these same Obas, we will welcome them as diaspora abroad to come and celebrate culture. But nígbà tó di pé wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ ìran wa nínú palace, wọ́n yọ wá kúrò nínú ẹ̀, because we are not valid, even though we know we are. But let me take you to one of our articles on Koiki Media International News quickly. Once again, this is a live transmission coming straight from the Koiki Media. And the right to self-determination continue to be the agenda. I want us to follow me with this article that we put out on our website, which you can also visit at any time of your choice. I want us to come with me with these quickly, because that would then give us the understanding of what this Baba is saying. A very good morning once again at exactly 2 minutes past 7 a.m. Share the program and invite others as well. Once again, a good morning to you. Now, let's come to this headline. Take a look at this headline. I'm sure you can see it for those of you watching me on the screen. But for the benefit of those that are not watching me on the screen, that are just watching me or listening, because we're live on the MixLR and I'm also live on the Twitter space this morning. I want you to go with me with this headline. And the headline goes like this: Nigeria target diaspora cash. And when I mean cash, I'm talking about money. Cash. So I've managed to upgrade my money here. So this is a real money. The one I got from Belfast. I decided not to spend it. This is a real money of 20 pounds. This is 10 pounds. Again, this is the original now. I decided to keep one for my template. These are not original. This is dollar. I think I should put new ones there now. And this is the Naira. So what we have now here are real currency. They are not fake. These are the real money. And I want us to look at this money. Out of these three money, we have the pound sterling, we have the Belfast pounds, we have the England pounds, and I have the dollar, and I have the fraudulent Naira. We, the diaspora, according to the central bank, is now expecting us to contribute a total value of $1 billion monthly in remittances. Yesterday alone, myself, just me, yesterday alone, I've sent, and I'll give you the total of how much I sent back home yesterday. So I'm going to go to my Lemfi so that I can give you the exact record. And I can share that with you, but it's not necessary. But I will tell you exactly how much I sent home yesterday. And we have a king or Oba just brushing the diaspora discussion, doing something that is important to us. So I'm going to my transaction. Yesterday, I sent the first £100 And that £100 gave us 221,400 naira. I went further again. I sent another £55. That gave me 121,000 naira, 660 naira. I went further again. I sent another £74. That gave me 163,466. Now, let's calculate how much me alone sent back home yesterday. This was yesterday. So let me go to my calculator and give us a breakdown of what I sent home myself. So the first £100 plus 55 plus 74. Yesterday alone, me, Olayomi Koiki, I sent to Nigeria £229. And look at what this Oba just said about the diaspora during a discussion that matters to us. It does not matter what I use. What I've sent is what matters. Let's focus on the discussion. Now, let's put that to bracket at the exchange rate yesterday. The exchange rate to Nigeria yesterday was 2,212 naira. So let's put it together. 2,212 naira. So yesterday alone, myself, one person, I sent almost 500,000 naira to Nigeria. 506,548 naira is what I sent home yesterday. But many of you think when we sit here, we have no right, because our right only exists by sending money home. Our right does not exist. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ lédè Yorùbá. Lánàá, mo send 506,000 naira lọ sí Nigeria at about almost 226 pounds. Ọba kan dẹ̀ jókòó, wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ diaspora, or brush it to the side. Let's go further into this article quickly. Very good morning. Nigeria target diaspora cash. So my cash was target yesterday because the central bank needs $1 billion monthly remittances. Kí ló ń pè ní remittances? Let's go to the English dictionary quickly. According to the English dictionary, when migrant, I am a migrant, regardless of whether I have a resident status to live in the UK or whether I have a Nigerian passport or I still have a British passport. The moment I left Nigeria to Japa 25 years ago, good morning to my beautiful wife, I am automatically classified as a migrant. And that means that for every time I decide to look into the current state of things in Nigeria to support my family, and I take cash, my hard-earned money, whether it was given to me, whether I went to work for it, as long as it's not stolen and it's not a crime, as long as it's not a drug money like the president, according to reports, where money from drugs passed through his account during his time in the United States of America. When migrants Olayomi Koiki, and millions of diaspora send home part of their earnings owó tá ń gbà níbí báyìí in the form of either cash or goods to support their families. These transfers are known as workers or migrant remittances. You can see why they do not want Nigeria to break. Because the breakup of Nigeria means that they will lose billions of dollars, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso. So Cardoso would not want the breakup of Nigeria because they will want us to keep sending money home. And there's nothing wrong to send money home if you have it. But the meaning of remittances, spelled Romeo, Echo, Mike, India, Tango, Tango, Alpha, November, Charlie, Echo, Sarah. In tó ń pè ní remittances, in tó mean, in tó jẹyọ ni pé a remittance is a non-commercial transfer of money by a foreign worker, a member of a diaspora community, a Yoruba man, living in the UK as a Nigerian, because Nigeria is still what the UK recognized. UK does not recognize anything called Yoruba nation because there's no country yet called Yoruba nation. But we are moving towards that, and it's stage by stage. So a remittance is a non-commercial transfer of money by foreign worker, a member of a diaspora community, or a citizen with a familiar ties abroad for the household income in their own country or homeland. That is what is called remittance. And that is how we have been able to save millions of Nigerians from being fight. But our kings probably knows this, or maybe ignorant. They've gone to joke about something that has meaning. Let's listen again, and I'll let that video flow without interruption. My name is Olami Koiki. Share the program.
We are presenting this commemorative flag on behalf of Afenifere, led by our leader, Chief Fasol, who our Baba here is representing. I think we are doing this principally, sir, to showcase your performance to the whole world, to appreciate what you have done for us, and especially those of us who are Yorubas, not in the Western region, per se, Diaspora. That you have been able, not Diaspora, sir. Overseas Diaspora. So we are happy, sir, that you have used your position, sir, to bring all of us together. And we are grateful for God to have given you this position, and you have done so well. We are pleased to be associated with you. And for all of us here, I read 2 articles. One yesterday, the other one the day before yesterday. The first one said about your birthday. It said ancient throne and his modern monarch. And the other one I read yesterday by my brother here, Daddy Babari, sir. He wrote about you, about Baba Afe Babalola and General Yakubu Gowon. I urge all of us to read it. And on behalf of Baba, first honor, I'm pleased and greatly honored to present this to you, sir.
No, it's the right side.
Kabiyesi said something there that I want us to also pick on that beautiful gift that was given to him. Kabiyesi ní ọpọ́n Ifá ni àwọn á máa dá Ifá lórí ẹ̀, but we will still remain Nigeria. Abi? A very good morning. Look at that beautiful gift. The beautiful one. Let's go further with the discussion this morning. My name is Koiki. You're watching a live transmission on the Koiki Media Network. Let's continue.
Oh, Baba, first of all, I'm pleased and really honored to present this to you, sir.
Náà ni pé wọ́n gbà pé kí Ọlọ́run àti àwọn alálẹ̀ wọ́n túbọ̀ máa tì í lẹ́yìn láti lè máa ṣe iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n gbélé yín lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀mí yá gùn, Ọlọ́run àti máa wà pẹ̀lú bàbá Fáṣọ̀rántì tí wọ́n wá sign on behalf. But work in progress ni finish yẹn ṣì ń bọ̀.
Now, this is the part I want us to listen to as well. The man that have stood up right now, remember, is the man that I told us is a former governor. Not just a former governor, no. I'm on a program now, Bishop. I'm on a program right now. All right. Let's get the free. All right. Go ahead. Bishop wants to give us a brief on the remittance. Go ahead. Quickly. Can you mute the background?
Yeah,
Bishop,
thank
please.
you very much. Thank you very much, Koiki. To buttress more on the issue of remittance that the CBN governor needed. In the surface, when they are explaining the meaning of remittance, they will tell you that is the money that the citizen in diaspora send home, in which come to their cover. So that is the primary explanation. But the cost of that need is actually the title of the remittance, the cost of that need. Now, the cost of the need is that they are indebted to foreign transactions that the foreign reserve cannot meet. Now, the essential is that our Nigeria ní dollar accounts abroad. Tó jẹ́ wípé gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí ó bá ń ra nǹkan ní abroad, Nàìjíríà máa san dollars tẹ́ máa wọnú fún àwọn báńkì yẹn wọ́n máa san sí Central Bank. Now, Central Bank níbí ó máa transaction yẹn àti America tó bá ti dá America àtàkùn Nàìjíríà láńkà náà ti máa yọ dọ́là yẹn náà máa fi or pounds yẹn láti san owó nǹkan tẹ́ni náírà yẹn. Nígbà míì owó àkáǹtì ní foreign reserve yẹn kò ní tó láti sanwó yẹn, but wọ́n máa ta ọjà yẹn with the confidence wípé ìlú that Central Bank of Nigeria ló fún ọ guarantee wípé wọ́n release ọjà yẹn, wọ́n máa ẹni yẹn ti san dọ́là fún wọn, wọ́n máa post yẹn later. Now, bí àwọn ìlú ṣe ń tajà with trustee fúnra wọn yẹn now. For them to say millions of dollars, billions of dollars for foreign remittance, ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí wípé Nàìjíríà ti gba àwọn iye owó worth of dollars ìyẹn tí àwọn aráàlú ti transact tí àwọn òkè òkun tí wọ́n ti supply goods yẹn bọ̀ Nàìjíríà ò tí ì sanwó yẹn fún wọn. So àdìdí tí Nàìjíríà ò ṣe tí ì sanwó yẹn fún wọn, wọ́n ti ná owó yẹn, wọn ò fi sí reserve ó lè sáfìsì international transaction yẹn, wọ́n ti ná owó yẹn, so wọ́n ti jẹ gbèsè nìyẹn. So the repercussion of that is that tí wọn ò bá tètè rí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà lókè òkun tó máa sẹ́ẹ̀dì foreign currency wálé bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, because tí ọmọ Nàìjíríà lókè òkun bá fẹ́ sẹ́ẹ̀dì owó wá sílé bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, àkáǹtì Nàìjíríà ní foreign currency yẹn máa lọ lọ́hùn. But àwọn tìlú òyìnbó náà máa wá fọwọ́dù transaction yẹn sílé bí owó yẹn lè níbí, but àkáǹtì owó yẹn gangan tí àwọn ọmọ diaspora àti asẹ́ǹtì yẹn kò kọjá ìlókìkò kò kọjá diaspora yẹn, àkáǹtì Nàìjíríà ló máa lò. But data transaction ló máa wá sílé bí náà máa fi máa ní àwọn tó wà lébi máa fi gbà. But owó tẹ̀ ìkólẹ̀ lọ́hùn yẹn, òun yẹn náà ló wà fún àkáǹtì Nàìjíríà ló lọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà náà tó sẹ́ǹdì owó ìlú òyìnbó sí ìlú òyìnbó láti ra nǹkan, àkáǹtì ìlú òyìnbó yẹn nínú Nàìjíríà ń bì ló máa lọ, dátà ló máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó máa fi rìlíìsì kìíní yẹn. Bọ̀ nǹkan tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé owó ìlú òyìnbó yẹn tó wọnú àkáǹtì ìlú òyìnbó yẹn ní Nàìjíríà ń bì, Nàìjíríà ti ná, wọ́n ti divert ẹ̀ fi ṣẹ́ ní wọ́n ti ná, so òun ló ṣe jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ti jẹ gbèsè. They need to meet that remittance. Òun náà ṣe need remittance yẹn wípé kára ọmọ Nàìjíríà tó wà lóyìnbó kó sẹ́ndì owó wa kó lè lọ sí àkáǹtì títí wọn nílùú òyìnbó. So àwọn gbèsè tó ti jẹ ìlú òyìnbó á lè yọ ìdígbèsè yẹn náà. Tí wọn ò bá wá meet remittance yẹn títí di December tí a wà yìí, the next option is that Naira will devalue drastically again. Naira will devalue drastically again, and the measure is that nígbà tó wọn bá ti rí owó yẹn san, the meeting will be to devalue Naira so that the transaction tí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà bí bá ń ṣe pẹ̀lú òkè òkun, gbèsè tó wà nílẹ̀ yẹn orí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tó ń ṣe transaction ní foreign currency náà ti máa fa to cushion the debt off. Ìdí tó ṣe ń dìbàlù owó nìyẹn, because ìgbèsè wà lórí náírà àti àwọn tó ń ṣàkóso Nàìjíríà náírà currency, which is central bank. I think I've been able to break it down in a lay language. Thank you very much, sir. Hello? Hello, Koiki, are you there?
Thank you, Bishop.
Hello?
Sorry, okay. Thank you. Subject complete.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So that is Bishop giving us a better understanding to the diaspora remittance and why they want me to send more money home rather than have my own country. Let's go back to the discussion. Thank you so much, Bishop, for the contribution. You're watching it live. Okay, before we play the video, so the man that is standing now is Benga Daniel, a former governor and a current senator Let's hear what he wants to say again to Kabiyesi. This visit is because of these. This visit is because of this. So whatever you are watching from Ile-Ife is the reaction of what Baba Akintoye is doing that Tinubu on the right-hand side is not happy with. So we have two individuals. One, suppressing the Yoruba within Nigeria, which is Tinubu, and the other, Baba Akintoye, doing everything possibly best to pull us out. But they know that there is a man that also is very important when it comes to the discussion of the Yoruba people. Whether we call him the king of politician, that I don't know. That is what people are saying. But we know the importance of, thank you so much for the thumbs up on Twitter. If you can help me to share this program, I would really appreciate. And it goes a long way for the job that we are doing here. That's all we ask for now. Just share the program. Whether we call him the king for the... I just want to bring this picture into this image. But I can't seem to find a good one of him. Maybe I didn't name his picture. So what I'm going to do quickly, I think I should have Kabiyesi picture on my folder in my background. Please share the program. Moki Yoruba. And once again, thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday morning conversation. Yeah, I think what I need to do now, I need to label it as Oni so that next I'm looking for it again. Oni Ife. Now, we are now having two people that have an agenda for Yorubas. On your left-hand side is Baba Akintoye, and on your right-hand side is Tinubu, and in the middle is Oni of Ife. Baba Akintoye would also have no choice to send delegation to Oni of Ife at some point, as quickly as possible, to discuss the matter of the Yoruba people. I expect that Baba Akintoye will also put together a team of Yoruba people that are different from the Afenifere and that want Yoruba people to be free. Láti gbé mátà wá lọ bá Kábíyèsí. Now, Kábíyèsí would then have to decide on his own what matters to the lives of Yoruba people, and not just the Yorubas in Nigeria, but the Yorubas in the diaspora. So you can see that we are in a crossroad. And that is why I'm asking again, who among the Yorubas are against Yoruba having his own independent country so that we can exit the union? Please get a cup of tea yourself, or coffee like I've done myself. Now, let's go to listen to Benga Daniel, his message to Kábíyèsí. Again, all this communication took place at Ile-Ife, I believe, a few days ago. Let me welcome Taufik Fuja. You might be wondering why, because he's not just an ordinary individual, these are people that are also paying us to watch me. Just like you also pay your Netflix. The average people will pay £17.99 a month just to watch Netflix. And we pay also TV license. So we do appreciate many of you, our contributors, that does not want this platform to collapse. Your donation, voluntary, helps me to continue to run this organization. This organization pay tax to the UK government, Koikimedia. As I speak to you right now, in my communication with one of my team back that is ready to do more as well in one of the Yoruba towns. Good morning, sir. I've asked him to give me 3 different mobile phones and their prices. One of the phones that he has sent to me is called the A70. Cost 101,000 naira. Or the A50, 95,000. Or the A06 at 85,000. So if you're going to be likely to watch me more from Nigeria, southwest part of Yoruba land, your contribution will help me to pay my staff to get quality mobile phone. Not that we haven't bought in the past, but due to the power shortage and all kind of, my phone also breaks here. This phone was given to me brand new, and within a week, I forgot to put a screen protector. It cracked, but I'm still using it. But the difference between Nigeria and here is that the electricity is stable. It does not damage stuff. And if you watch the video that we produced from Shaki, where that staff is operating from, the quality of the phone is very poor. But when we do not have support of our people to give us money to run this organization, sometimes the quality that you will get will be extremely low. My quality from UK is top notch. If I'm using the phone, it's good. And I'm currently using my Alienware laptop, which is also stable. But remember that to run from Nigeria is not as cheap. So if we have somebody that is ready to give us that money this morning, I can send it to him. But if otherwise, I will send it when I have it. Media must continue to run very well. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, doing a lot of editing. Go on our website and you will see many of the pictures of Oluwole while he was in London. More pictures is still being uploaded. We are grateful to many of you for your contribution, that we were able to upgrade a lot of our stuff before Oluwole came for that event. And most of these are not personally for myself. It's for the work of Yoruba Nation. So we hope that they will be useful for the next event. We didn't get this right on the day of the rally because we didn't test it properly. So the audio didn't come out when we were doing the recording. You will realize that I posted a video of Oluwole. This was used to shut that film when they were giving the salutation that was sponsored by Bishop Additional. I will not tell you how much he spent. Bishop Additional had to convert Naira back to pounds for you to witness what you saw that day. But we have another footage, but it's still in my archive, and I'm the only one in this country as a staff. My staff are in Nigeria. Some of them will be working with the stuff that I'll be sending to them, but I have to do majority of the work. So if you think that we are doing something good on this platform, just as many of you contribute to different platforms for people that are sick, I am not sick. And I don't pray to be sick. I don't need your donation when I'm sick. And I don't need your donation when I'm dead. I need your support when I am alive. I don't want anybody to donate anything because many of you, not a lot, but majority love to donate when somebody die. Then you see, take 10,000, take 5,000. We need those £1,000 now so that we can push. If you look at Shaki, if you saw the Ogun, Tiwoshe, Nijeta, you realize that they were all holding the flag. You paid for that flag, for the flag to get to that destination. Your support is well needed. Don't pay me when I'm dead. Give me that money now so that we can use it to finish this job of self-determination. No media in Nigeria will fight on our cause. We are ready. My team are ready to continue to propagate the message. But any only good phone in Nigeria, I cannot be the only one coming live every day. I need a lot of my team to also be on live. But like I said, we need those support. So if you can support, those are the account details. And if you need more, you can always call me on my numbers. Let's go back to the discussion this morning. Now, let's listen to Benga Daniel.
Excellency, Royal Highnesses, I want to thank all of you for making time to come and honor KBC. As my family be aware, I will be wearing two caps here. I'm not as boy because I was honored over 30 years ago in this palace. And I've been an Afenifere is in my vein and in my blood. So I know a little bit about this great organization. And for this great town, the source, as our leader have clearly said, the story of Afenifere is
You know when somebody is saying there is no sound, there is sound. But when criminal politicians are talking, you can see that his audio went low. We heard their voice coming out very well. It's not from me, it is from the recording. Because Benga Daniel is another criminal that destroyed Ogun State. But he's presenting himself as one of the elders of Yoruba people today because we allow this nonsense to continue. But it's entirely up to us. And I just want to make this program as neat, as clean, without giving myself any headache this morning. So if you cannot hear him very well, I'm sorry, there's not much I can do. It's a recording.
And as God will have it, to the extent of our own awareness, all this that we grew up to know, from Baba Disobi, the last Baba Shigaji, have been active supporters of Afenifere. I also happen to know that there is hardly anything that Afenifere will want to do without deference to, especially critical moments. Exactly. That's what. Talking about critical moments, I remember that at a point in time, when it appears to be that we have some kind of division within the system, and that was what led to YUF, the Yoruba Unity Forum, which was put together to galvanize everybody. I've been led by Afenifere. And on that occasion, if I remember well, Mama Oluwole and Onishigade were more or less alternative chair to these Kennedy meetings. That is the importance that we attach to this palace. So therefore, sir, We're here to continue to pledge our loyalty. You have
All right, let me pick what he said there. They've come to Kabiyesi to gain his loyalty, to keep Yoruba people in one Nigeria. They've come to Kabiyesi on behalf of Tinubu for his alliance against Akintoye and Tinubu, because what we are witnessing today is a fight between two different people. Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, and President Bola Tinubu, the current president that is only going to be there for a very limited time. Benga Daniel is saying to Kabiyesi to please not allow Sunday Igboho and his people to bring the complete breakup or the amalgamation of Nigeria. That is what is being played out as we speak today. Benga Daniel is using the same trick that they've used against Yoruba people for decades to say to Kabiyesi, do not give room to Baba Akintoye and Igboho and the people calling for the dissolution of Nigeria. Even though Benga Daniel will not be around another 100 years, he will be a dead man. But these individuals care less of the end of what be part of Yoruba in Nigeria. Igboho, as we know, is not fighting for himself. Igboho is one out of millions of Yoruba people that wants the quest to self-determination. And this is the fight that we are currently fighting, because self-determination, Kabiyesi is a well-learned, read individual. He himself knows that the Yorubas are better off in a country of theirs. But because of the law that they have for Tinubu, we are now facing a very difficult time. Kabiyesi will have to decide who should he support between Baba Akintoye and Tinubu. This is the dilemma that Kabiyesi would have to face. But we will remind Kabiyesi that for you and the rest of the millions of the people that are called indigenous people to be valued and respected around the world, it is not about Igboho. It is more about you and us to have our independent country, regardless of your interest or support to Benga Daniel and the rest of the team that visited Kabiyesi at Ile-Ife. So we are at a crossroad. Let's go back and listen to Benga Daniel, and I prepare Obasanjo for you with the next video. Good morning once again. Get your cup of tea, coffee, or nice soft drink or ogi for those of you back in Nigeria. My name is Koiki, and you're watching a live transmission. Like I said, We need about 4 different mobile phones for my team. The average is 100,000 naira. The cheapest is 85. Let's see who can support so that we can buy those phones and you can start listening more to Koikimedia team apart from myself. I will not start calling your names as good morning each, but I put everybody together as good morning because this is a serious discussion and we do not need any distraction. A very good morning to you all. Share the program. Let's go back to Benga Daniel.
There's a lot of work that God has naturally put without any doubt that you still have to do. The unity of our race is still work in progress. And you can see Kabesi from Qatar. What he wasn't able to say openly is that they consider themselves to be ostracized and oppressed.
Now, Benga Daniel is touching an area, a gray area, that we have Yoruba kings in Kogi, in Kaba, but they are already been marginalized. By who? Benga Daniel is afraid to tell us. They know exactly what is happening. But Benga Daniel could not say on the camera who is giving the kings or the Obas in Kaba problem. We know that those that are giving them problems are from the northern part of Nigeria, that are the Fulani clans. But the same Benga Daniel is coming to Oni of Ife, even though what will save the Obas in Kaba is an independent Yoruba country. But rather, they are running away from the truth and running against the shadow. Because Benga Daniel mọ̀ dájú pé in tó lè resolve problem Kaba tó jẹ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá tá à ń pè ní Kogi state òun ni pé ká gba country wa. And we will then wait and see who dares disrespect the Obas in Kaba. Because our government will be the one running the show, not the current one that the fraudulent Yaya Bello and the current one have disrespected all the Obas in Kaba and also close to Ilorin in Kwara State. So you can see, they know the truth, but they are putting the truth to the side. And I'm sure Kabiyesi is sitting down and looking at him and saying, but Itigbo àti Baba Akintoye sọ lélẹ̀, wọ́n marginalize àwọn ọba ní Kaba, àwọn wo, and why? Let's listen again to that part of what Benga Daniel is about to say. I'll rewind it a little bit so that you can catch it again.
You have your prayer emergency. There's a lot of work that God has naturally put without any doubt that you still have to do. The unity of our race is still work in progress. And you can see Kabesi from Qatar. What he wasn't able to say openly is that they consider themselves to be ostracized and oppressed. Because we have not been able to fully, supported them.
Can Benga Daniel explain to us who is suppressing our Obas in Kaba? Can this senator tell us so that we know where to tackle? What they have been doing, like I told us some few days ago, is talking about the unity of the Yorubas. But the unity of the Yorubas will only work if we pull out of Nigeria, because we cannot be united with the people that have different ideology and that will continue to suppress and will never give us the freedom that we truly want. even if Tinubu remain in power for 60 years, which I doubt, because Tinubu cannot be alive for 60 years' time. He will be gone. If you add 60 years to Bola Tinubu's age, so why then should we allow Tinubu to destroy who we are using Kabiyesi when we know that Tinubu existence on this earth cannot last another 60 years? His legacy might last depending on what part of his legacy that we're going to be talking about. But as a person, individually, Tinubu cannot be alive 60 years from now. He will be gone. So why then are we selling our birthright back to Nigeria when Baba Akintoye, that himself will not be around for another 60 years, Baba Akintoye will have gone? My question then is, who do we give the full endorsement? This is a question to Kabiyesi or Jaja II. Who do you support? For these dreams, okay? Do you support Tinubu's agenda, even though Tinubu himself will not exist after 60 years from today? And today, for record purpose, for the future generation that will listen to this video was documented on the 26th of October 2024 at exactly 7:52 a.m. My name is Koiki. And by the time you are watching this video, Yoruba country would have come and will still remain as a country within countries. Mr. Fatai Ogunribido just posted something I would like to read. And he went further to say, speaking in English in this forum means they are acting for the colonial lords, motivating them remotely. These people are politicians protecting their accumulated wealth and so scared the Yoruba nation existence will terminate their imperial wealth domination in Yoruba land. I cannot add or remove from what a brilliant Yoruba man, the secretary of the Yoruba World Media, Fatai Ogunribido, have just stated. Let me read that again. Or let me see if I can translate it ní èdè Yorùbá. Ntí bàbá wa Fatai Ogunribido, the secretary of the Yoruba World Media, sọ ni pé èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tí wọ́n sọ. Let me remove the image because some of you might not know where we are. And I don't want you to get lost in the broadcast. This broadcast this morning is a very, very important broadcast. And that's why I will avoid not to allow my emotion to override what I'm about to tell you throughout the program. I could leave this program and end it nicely and start another one and start my normal utterances. But I will keep my utterances so that I want you to pick everything. And I'm speaking in English, not that I don't want to speak in Yoruba, but I want us to understand the damage that these individuals are putting to our king, because they are putting pressure on Ooni of Ife. I don't want us to think about Ooni of Ife is a politician king. Let's leave all that area for now. But we are talking about two individuals, Baba Akintoye and President Bola Tinubu Jagaban. One is talking about self-determination, while the other is talking about a one Nigeria in respect to their colonial lords. And this is where we are saying we are at the crossroad. Let's go back to what Fatai Ogunribido said. One èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tí Gbenga Daniel, even one of the others, jokingly, I believe he's joking about the diaspora remittances, because ọba yẹn mọ̀ pé nílùú wọn diaspora ló ń fund the state yẹn. I don't know which state that Oba is from, because if not, that state will have collapsed. But leave that. Wọ́n ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tí wọ́n sọ nínú àkójọpọ̀ ìjókòó tí wọ́n lọ bá kábíyèsí, ìyẹn àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re, ni wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí àwọn tí wọ́n kó wa ní ẹrú tó ń pè ní òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun, tí wọ́n da Yorùbá papọ̀ sínú tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà ní ọdún kan tó ń pè ní 1914 amalgamation. Wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn olóṣèlú tí ẹ̀ ń rí tí wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ nínú ìpàdé yìí, ìyẹn Gbénga Daniel, we have no reason to give him the respect of Ọ̀túnba, because ẹni tó bá fẹ́ jẹ́ Ọ̀túnba ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní value àti integrity fúnran ọmọ Yorùbá, not to the criminal northern Fulanis that have destroyed Yoruba land. Wọ́n ní gbogbo tí wọ́n ń ṣe ni pé àwọn olóṣèlú yìí látòrí Gbénga Daniel àti gbogbo wọn, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan tó ti kó jọ débi pé Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún àti Gbénga Daniel wọ́n gbéná wojú ara wọn some few months back, nígbà tí Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún lọ wó lára àwọn hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì wọn. Àwọn ló máa ṣèjọba tán, ló máa ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì, ló máa ní retail center, ló máa ní shopping mall, ló máa ní estate, and yet they are never satisfied. Gbogbo ọrọ̀ ajé tó kó jọ yẹn, tó kó jọ, òun ni ọrọ̀ ajé tí wọ́n mọ̀ dájú pé nígbà tí ìran Yorùbá bá dá dúró, ó ṣeé ṣe pé ó máa wà terminated, and they are worried and scared. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i, tabarẹ́ ẹni tó máa ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láàárọ̀ yìí, fún àti lè ra bó tẹ̀ jẹ́ fóònù ẹyọ kan, ká rà fún kan náà ọmọ wa kó lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ní kíákíá. Mo kí gbogbo wa, mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Fatai Ogunribido. Tomorrow Sunday we will host you because we are back after all our activities. Kẹwàá fún wa ní debrief kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nípa gbogbo ìrìn àjò tá a rìn láti ìgbà tí olóyè dé tó fi lọ. Lára ìrìn àjò olóyè, part of Igboho's mission to UK is the reaction from Afenifere to the palace that we are doing the analysis this morning on. Let's go back to the video and let's prepare to listen to Obasanjo after this particular one. So I'm just going to let Gbénga Daniel speak for the other 1 minute, and then we will not go further in that video. I've used this video more than enough, then we go to the next one. Let's just listen again.
And give them their rights of place. Having said that, I still don't want to be allowed. But as you rightly said when you saw me today, the creation of the Southwest Development Commission is clearly a step in the right direction. And I just want to appeal to all of us to continue to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Without any doubt, it's very, very clear that
as a journalist, I don't know whether anybody picked something from the body language of Gbénga Daniel. And if you can just put in the comment section, kí lẹ̀ ń rí nípa body language ẹ̀? I just look at the screen quickly before we move further. What can you notice in the body language of Gbénga Daniel? Teba notice the body language. What do you see in the body language? Maybe I'm the only one saying it. Maybe somebody else that is watching. Okay, Mas B says he's giving the message with force. Okay, any other person? Omobolaji say they are scared. Can anybody say anything that is different from the two people that have just read their comment. If you're with me on the transmission, and I'm reading all the comments, I believe I still have Koiki to do out that I'm not seeing the comments. So let me come back. Don't worry about Islamic Sharia. Let's focus on Yoruba Nation. If you get Yoruba Nation, you can stop any Islamic Sharia. Question Timon Bere, you can focus the Lori. Olawale says is reluctant. Okay. Do we have any one more person? And then we'll move further. And I'll tell you what I saw. And maybe I'm just seeing it from that angle. Maybe it might mean nothing. One more. I'll take one more before we move further. My name is Olami Koiki. You're watching a live transmission on the Koiki Media Network. One more. All right. Let me tell you what I've picked from what Benga Dana is still kind of lobbying for another greener pasture in an ongoing administration. You can see that throughout as he's speaking, he's not speaking with someone that is emotional about the current state of things in Yoruba land. You can see the kind of smile coming out of his that you know, that scarcism laugh. This individual care less about you and me. As he's talking about Tinubu, you can see that he's laughing because he knows it's a joke. He knows that himself that Tinubu is a joke, he's a joker. That Tinubu has nothing to offer Yoruba people. That is why you can see the smile. He can't control it because he's not his true self. His true self is not coming out. They are not emotional about the current state of things, even as of today in Nigeria. Somebody says, Masbi says, Eriako. These people should go to the palace and let the king know the pain of the people. Look, I am not 3,000 miles away from Nigeria, according to Just Reason. I haven't seen him for a while on the broadcast. And every time I come on the live show, my spirit feels touched with a lot of things that is happening in Nigeria. But this is a man that lives in Nigeria. I'm sure they did not go on helicopter. They ride down there because the road, there's no airport in Osun State. And if there's one, they probably will still drive to the palace. I'm sure when Benga Daniel was driving to Kabiosi's palace, I'm sure Omamari, poverty on the left, on the right, poverty. So he should go to that palace and pour his heart in an emotional way to Oba, even if they still want one Nigeria. I don't care when you're born, even if the drive between the airport, the land, to the palace, he would have seen left, right, poverty of Yoruba people. So by going to deliver these to Kabiyesi, and that's why I always say on this platform that I don't even want you to see me as somebody that is serious. I just want you to see me as somebody that has come to deliver a message. You take that message and you go home, whether you believe me or you disagree. Because, like I said, the pain of my people is right in our chest, even though I am 3,000 miles away. But this is a man that has driven from the airport for argument's sake. I'm sure they see it in their tinted SUV with security that is piloting them to the palace. And look at the way he's delivering a message of hope to Yoruba people. And these are meant to be leaders of Yorubas in the present day Yoruba in the southwest of Nigeria. One is human touch, no human sympathy. Kí ló funny nìkan tó ń deliver nísìn. ṣó yàgbẹ́ sára ni àbí yíyàn kan yàgbẹ́ sára níbẹ̀ yẹn tó ń rí àbí yíyàn kan tọ̀ sára? Because I know he's in a beautiful palace. I've not been to that palace before, but I know because you can see the magnificence of that palace. But kí ló funny sí Gbenga Daniel? Kí ló ń pa lẹ́rìn? What is funny? Oh, Tinubu is going to make Nigeria better and he's laughing. But the D of Nigeria right now, nobody's laughing. Even if we are still in Nigeria, what is funny that Gbenga Daniel is smiling about? Because these people are not talking about us. And I go back again to what Fatayo Guribido says, and let me get my glasses on so that I can see clearly. Speaking in English in this forum means that they are acting on the colonial laws that is motivating them remotely. These people, Gbenga Daniel, politicians are protecting their accumulated wealth. And they are so scared. Gbenga Daniel sọ pé tabagba Yorùbá country. Àwọn ọmọ yìí ìjọba tó ń bọ̀ kò ní dàbí ìta ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. I'm sure Gbenga Daniel also remember that death will happen to each one of us at the appropriate time. Let's leave that and move to the next discussion. Listen to this again. While these are going around convincing Kabiyesi, and thanks so much for the owner of this video that we have used this morning. Let's listen one more time to this from the Arewa, and I'll prepare us for the next video, which is Tinubu, Obasanjo, with the visit of the Northerners at the penthouse, as so-called in Abeokuta.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This clip is titled Alleged Regional Government Bill in Circulation, if true, overtaken by events. A document alleging to be a bill submitted by Bola Tinubu to the National Assembly seeking to reverse and to amend the 1999 Constitution and give regions independence from the central. In other words, going back to regional government arrangement. It's in circulation all over the social media. If this bill is true, and I hope it is true, my message is clear that the bill has been overtaken by events. What preponderance of Nigerians need now is not regional government, but they want an independent country of their own. Regional government belongs to the past. Currently, the agitation is for self-determination, for all regions, ethnic nationalities wishing to have their own country. Anything short of that is chasing the wild goose, and will not pass the passage of time. I will not see the daylight. Indeed, what Nigerians are going through now, the way and manner we are being collectively mismanaged, we are being assaulted, we are being pauperized, we are being reduced into pitiable combustible materials, we are being reduced into beggars, into slaves by the Bola Tinubu regime, is emboldening many of us who were formerly against breaking of Nigeria into smaller nations. We are now reversing ourselves. Majority of us, including myself, who was formerly against smaller nations out of Nigeria, is now fully committed to having Nigeria broken into different countries out of choice or out of compulsion, so that we can go and manage ourselves in our own way, in our own speed, in our own style, cognizance of taking into consideration our culture, our beliefs, our socialization, our meaning, if you like. We are tired of a central government where everybody has been made to become a slave. Everybody has been reduced except the few who are milking the country high, empty, and dry, who are stealing our collective patrimony, collective resources, who are sending us fear and terror, who are deceiving us every day, every night, every hour, every week, every month, all year through. And therefore, those who are thinking that a deal to take Nigeria back to the are doing any favor, they are making the biggest mistake. That is not what Nigerians need. What Nigerians need is dissolution of Nigeria into smaller nations, out of choice or out of compulsion, in peace, not in pieces. Anything short of that will not see the light of the day, will not address the current challenges, will only be postponing the evil day. Enough for the wise.
Enough for the wise. Coming up to 11 minutes past 8 a.m., 2 hours, 11 minutes into the discussion this morning. My name is Oluwole Koiki. Who among the Yorubas are against Yoruba having its own independent country so that we can exit the union? Let's take us back again to what is happening in Samoa during the current Commonwealth of Nations. The Commonwealth, as we know, are countries that Britain colonized. And every year they meet and discuss. Thank you so much for the thumbs up on the Twitter space. Please share this program. And if you can just also click on the thumbs up, it will also help send a signal back to others. 6 people refused to thumbs up on the backup channel of koikimedia WD. Only 10 people thumbs up. Maybe you have just forgotten. If you click on it, it will help send signal out that this program is worth recommended through the algorithm. 82 people are watching on the Koiki media, but we have only 56 of you that have clicked thumbs up. I know you have just forgotten. Now that I've reminded you, we would appreciate if you come out of the broadcast and click on the thumbs up so that when I come back again and check, we know that you are all with me. Apart from those of us that care less and you are only here to snoop, or you're only here just to see if you can get one secret or know something that we are planning. We do not plan anything and bring it on the social media. But the dissolution of Nigeria will come true, either you like it or not. Britain, that we're going to hear the analysts from a very good station that we use all the time called Vantage. I have watched it myself last night, and I'll let every part of this period to go without interruption. The copyright goes to first post. The more you help this channel, the more it will grow bigger and bigger. Even if you disagree with me and my utterances, we can all agree that Nigeria has become a pain in the ass and is affecting every one of us. Whether you want the unity of one Nigeria, you will not be able to decide that since we have not been able to unite. And after this video, I will take us to Obasanjo and the Northern visit. And if time permits me, I will take us to listen to the rep as the Sharia law that we could not play properly during my broadcast yesterday. But I'm on a full mode broadcast, and that means that it gives me the privilege to show you a lot of things at the background. Let's listen to Pay Slavery Reparations. Former colonies confront Britain. Who are they confronting? not just the king, but also the prime minister, the same prime minister that Igboho took on behalf of the Yorubas and Professor Akintoye our letter. But the prime minister is busy. I'm sure you've all heard about the letter, the petition, and many condemnation and many accolades and many disagreements. But let me tell you, as someone that had lived in the UK for 25 years, and as a journalist that practiced and have been to Downing Street many times, there is no location around the world that you would drop this kind of letter or petition, and then a government comes out and say, oh, that petition was not taken from us, or that petition has no meaning, or that letter has even been dumped in the bin. It will show that you are not as learned enough to understand that this is not Nigeria and this is not Africa. This letter was not delivered in any part of Africa. This letter was not delivered on behalf of Akintoye to the British High Commissioner in Abuja. Igboho himself flew into London to personally hand over these to number 10 Downing Street. And that was accepted. And also the process will not come to you if you're waiting to know what the content of the letter was all about. If the British Prime Minister will reply us back, the only person that will be privy, P-R-I-V-Y, privy to such a letter would also be the man that wrote the letter as well. And that is the leader of the Yoruba nation, self-determination, Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye. When you deliver a letter of this caliber, of this magnitude, it is also important that it is nothing more than to let you understand that the UK government, under international laws, and I use that word to start with, would not and dare not reveal the content of the letter to anyone else. It is confidential. So there is no amount of what you are hearing from outside of different medias, especially in Nigeria, to discredit this letter can work. Because this letter, like I said, was handed over in a civilized environment, in a democratic environment called the United Kingdom. And that letter is confidential. So if anyone thinks that the British High Commissioner that tried to discredit this letter is only playing to the tune of the government pressure in Nigeria, the British High Commissioner would not. He's just a civil servant, and I am paying his salary from the taxpayers and the tax that I am also contributing to the tax contribution in this country. If, let me put it that way, if I hear or if I know, if my sources tell me that the High Commissioner has been privy to see this letter, there will be consequence for the British government. As a journalist, there will be a massive consequence, because that will be a breach of trust between this country and the international community that is represented. So whatever you have listened to or you've heard about on this particular letter is garbage from the Nigerian garbage media. Most of them cannot even pronounce Downing Street properly. Some of them doesn't even know the name of the prime minister that we dropped the letter to. So how come then you are listening to garbage news and print media that have no understanding how international relationship works? The Yorubas are not a country yet, but the movement is strong enough to represent the 65 million Yoruba people in Nigeria. And that is exactly what we've done. Even if we have part of the Yorubas that disagree with us, what we have presented have highlighted a lot of things that many people knows about. But people just want to know what exactly is the communication between Professor Akintoye and the only person that will be privy as well to see this letter is the UK Prime Minister. And at the appropriate time, because everything is timing, they have time to reply and give us acknowledgement. Whether we decide to let you know that we have received the acknowledgement is entirely up to the leadership of Akintoye. If he thinks that it feels like letting us to know that that letter we have received an acknowledgement, we will let you know. But for now, it is a confidential letter, and not even the British High Commissioner, Dr. Richard Montegori, that I, Olayomi Koiki, is paying part of his salary from my tax being deducted in this country, dare not request a copy of that letter himself. I'm sure you know what that means. This means that there will be consequences for the British government. I'm sure you do not understand what letter is all about. You think that this is a Bole Kaja media. You think that Baba Akintoye is a Bole Kaja professor. You think Fatayo Guribido is a Bole Kaja man. You think Kentos, as the vice president of Ipelodu, you think that she does not know what she's doing. You think Alaja Adeyeye, one of the strong members of the Yoruba Nation movement that was selected to represent us with Igboho, I'm sure you don't know that all these important individuals, including Bedu magazine, including Prophet Ologun Oluwa, that flew all the way from New York to be part of history. So you think that this is just a joke. Some of you do not understand that the Yorubas are playing the same game that has been played in the past. And what is the game? The game of diplomacy. Nobody has ever come out to say that UK will give us a country. But we are doing exactly what the international community expects us to do. And like I said, we are still in the stages to dissolve this union. And it will be dissolved amicably, in timing, but we would have to be patient with the process. So let them continue to deliberate whether the letter is valid or it has been thrown into the trash. That is from the garbage Nigerian media that do not understand nothing, because we know that they have no iota of truth in them. But for now, the letter remains private, the letter remains confidential, and the letter remains right behind that door, which is the black door that even Joe Biden was glad enough to take a picture in front of it. The images that you have seen around the world that is still circulating, many of you will never put your foot behind that door till you die. Even your president I mean, your current president have not stand in front of that door yet. He might tomorrow on the visit of the Prime Minister, I don't know. But Igboho has done exactly what millions of people could not do by representing us behind that door, including myself, to deliver this fantastic history that has now been recorded. Maybe you don't know that the moment that we recorded it was exactly 1400 hours. Even the police will not let you go in until that same time because everything is recorded. And that record is with Downing Street. So if you're still in doubt of what will play out, you will wait for the next stage. Let's take you now to Samoa, which is very close to Australia, where there is a current Commonwealth meeting that is going on. And let's hear from the narrative, the analysis, not from me this time around, but from a beautiful presenter that I love so much and I respect for the work that she's doing within the organization. And this video was posted 15 hours ago, and it has been already 136,000 views. If only you support this platform, we would also gain the right views. But when we have to keep begging us to share and also thumbs up, then the viewership will not be as big as you might think. But one thing we are grateful for is that even after 3 years of my monetization being removed on Koikimedia, every month we gain about 700 new subscribers. It shows that people want something and they are looking for the truth. The truth is no longer in Nigeria. The truth is now within the Yorubas and the rest of those that want their freedom. Anything short of that is a crime scene. Let's go back now and watch this analysis about why Britain refused to talk about reparations of the former colonies, and Nigeria was one of them.
I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate.
My focus is on the forward look, not the sort of backward look.
Now let's turn our attention to Samoa. It's an island nation in the Pacific Ocean, so of course it was once subjugated by a European power. In this case, the colonizer was the UK. That is why today, Samoa is a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. It's actually the host country for this year's Commonwealth Summit, the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. The meeting is being presided over by Britain's King Charles III. Charles was having a great time over the last few days, drinking a potent Samoan brew, a drink called kava. Charles was even declared a high chief of the Samoan archipelago. Yes, he did seem to enjoy all the empire nostalgia, but he came crashing back down to earth earlier today.
Our cohesion requires that we acknowledge where we have come from. I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate. It is vital, therefore, that we understand our history to guide us to make the right choices in the future.
Charles seemed to have sobered up this morning. He needed his wits about him so he could deflect from a contentious issue at this Commonwealth Summit, the issue of reparations. As you know, Britain was a pioneer back in the day, a real trailblazer when it came to slavery. Slavery had always existed in human history, but Britain, and the British monarchy in particular, transformed it into a truly global business. The UK set up a slave code for its Caribbean colonies. They enslaved people in Africa, forced them into ships, and took them to plantations in the Caribbean. Millions perished during the brutal journey. And those who survived were worked to death on the plantations. The British royal family was heavily involved in slavery. They granted monopolies to slavers, provided ships. The previous Charles, Charles II, even founded the...
Be careful.
Company, Britain's biggest slave trading institution. Now, obviously, the British royal family was not doing any of it for free. They took a hefty cut of the profits. How hefty? We can't be sure of that. They've never been forthcoming with their finances. But considering the timeline, it is entirely possible that the Buckingham Palace itself was built using slavery profits. So the current Charles may literally be living in a house of blood. Today, Charles said that we should understand history. Well, this is the history. The British royal family continues to live in luxury thanks to the millions it made in the slave trade centuries ago. That is a fact. But here's Charles trying to sidestep the issue.
None of us can change the past, but we can commit with all our hearts to learning its lessons and to finding creative ways to right inequalities that endure.
Creative ways? Are you joking? How about going the simple way instead? Just pay reparations, sell all your fancy cars, cloaks and tiaras, and right the past wrongs. The British royal family will never agree to this, but sadly, neither will the British government.
I think we should be clear from the outset that the slave trade, slave practice was abhorrent. And it's very important that we start from that place. And of course, that matters hugely to many of the countries that are represented here. The question then is, where do we go from there? Now, my posture, if you like, is that we should be forward-looking. That's my posture, if you like, my focus is on the forward look, not the sort of backward look.
That was the UK's Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. He just flatly refused to pay reparations.
That is going to be the same thing from them with the kind of letter petition that we dropped to Downing Street. Not much will be expected, but does that mean that we should not put that in their hand? Just as African countries are asking for reparation, King Charles is not ready to apologize. He says we should move on, even though we know that the Buckingham Palace, that is making a lot of money for visitors, was built on slave trade. We know that Church of England made so much money out of slave trade. But the Yorubas are worried that we have dropped a letter and it is not going to make any significance. It is. If it's not, there will not be discussion of it across the globe today. But is the UK government going to support the dissolution or the de-amalgamation of Nigeria? The answer is no. But that does not stop us from engaging. We must continue to engage the international community if we truly want to show that we want to go. The engagement of international community shows that we are the Yorubas that are well learned and very, very highly learned people. The next shock that will happen is still loaded. But for now, that letter or petition is valid and it remains valid within the government of the UK, and I'll leave it for now. Let's go back and get a little bit more insight of why UK that took millions of you, your forefathers, that we are now trying to pull a stop to it. Because your fathers, your parents, were taken away as slaves. But you are more worried to keep that entity of Britain country that you call Nigeria. Because to you, we were given independence in 1960. It is time that the Yorubas wake up that there is nothing called the unity of one Nigeria. It is the biggest fraud. Britain monarchy system knows this. The rest of the world knows this. Even Sir Keir Starmer, the current Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, knows this as well. We are 2 hours 35 minutes, and I'm going to push this because I want to give us the final part, which is Obasanjo's video, before we end this program in 3 hours. So let's go straight into this.
Everyone in his cabinet is of the same view. They may offer some token, non-cash forms of justice, but no reparations, not even a formal apology. That is the British government's official stance.
Not even an apology. And I'll leave it like that so that we can move to the next video because of the time. Not even apology. The UK is not ready to apologize for all the crime committed on our forefathers, that you now want to prepare to save Nigeria, that the UK that built their wealth on the slave trade, took people from Yoruba land and the rest of Nigeria. Why are you still then in support of this Nigeria? Well, maybe somebody has the answer for us. And that is the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Let's hear from what his engagement with the Northern that visited him in Abeokuta.
Directly interacted with those who are before him. So I want to thank you in this time of a little bit of economic hardship that you take all it, or you make possible all it takes to be here and for us to.
If you've ever wondered what it takes
talk a little bit. Governor, you talk about your concern. And if there's anybody who is not concerned about the situation in Nigeria today, then he or she will need to have his head examined. So I believe that your concern must be shared and understood. I am concerned. And I know anywhere I go in recent times in Nigeria, people express their concern. So the expression of your concern is understood and shared by many. I must also say that Dr. Andrew regularly communicate with me. Go back about. At times we agree, at times we disagree. And of course, that's the way I believe it should be. If you are sincere to yourself. I told him he has made mistakes in the past. Maybe I too have made mistakes in the past. But whatever may be our past, our mistakes in the past, we do not want to repeat that mistake. always said, I am a believer in the greatness of this country. Yes, you are absolutely right. I am also an incurable optimist about this country. I am totally committed to the goodness of this country.
Obasanjo says, and I quote, that he is totally committed to the goodness of Nigeria. He has the right. That is his own prerogative. That is his own right. But what Obasanjo cannot but do now is to tell us that we must also believe in what he believes. Obasanjo can no longer tell the Yorubas that want the right to self-determination to remain in this contraction called Nigeria, because Nigeria is not for us. It was created under the British monarchy system, and we must find a way to peacefully allow it to come to the end. For many people of the Yoruba indigenous people do not want that to happen. If you'd like to join our news bulletin, do let me know and I'll bring you in. You will not be able to send any message in. And if anybody asks for money, do let us know. We will remove that number. There's not much I can do to that because we know we have criminals that will penetrate into many groups and they'll come behind and ask for money. Just let us know and we will bring their names and their numbers out to the public domain and we will block them. But no one apart from myself and my team do send messages in there. We don't need any prayer. We don't need any motivation. It is only a pure Yoruba conversation and the Koikimedia news and some other news from the world media and other Yoruba presenters. So if you'd like to join that platform, do let me know. We are just about 15 minutes. I want us to go back and listen more to what Obasanjo is saying before we come into the conclusion this morning on this live transmission.
I believe that if we look back, you can see, or if you want to be sincere with ourselves, you can see some of the mistakes of the past to which we must not fall into again. So anytime I hear north, west, east, I feel frightened. And that is my honest opinion. Because
why is Obasanjo frightening? Does he have a stake in Nigeria? What is wrong if Obasanjo comes out and says, let everybody go their separate ways? What is in it for Obasanjo that he feels frightening every time he hears the north, the southeast, and the southwest? Why is he in a panic mode? Is it because something of the foundation of Nigeria is faulty and he played the role as part of the game and is getting older? Obasanjo had 60 years to his years. He's dead and gone. We will only remember his legacy and whatever he has done. But we will not allow all these old baggers to continue to tell us to look for the unity of one fraudulent Nigeria. because Nigeria is not meant for us. Nigeria could be for Obasanjo, as he said in this video. It's a long video, we will not be able to play everything, but I just wanted to get the grasp of it. Obasanjo represents only himself and his family and the colonial. And according again to Fatai Ogunribido, Obasanjo is not stooge used by the Fulanis to put Yorubas under them. He sold every soul of Yorubas to the Fulanis, and that is why he is their beloved son, with whom they are always well pleased. Well, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was showing desperation. They transferred Obasanjo, Yoruba selling right to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Obasanjo and Bola Ahmed Tinubu are Fulani's Yoruba selling agents. Nothing good can come for Yorubas from Tinubu and Obasanjo. They are the slave agent for the colonial masters and their proxies, Fulani selling Yorubas to them, the colonialists. And also, just as a quick update from the letter that has been in circulation about Igboho to Downing Street and has brought a lot of discussion, not controversy. According to the update from my brother, again, the Secretary of the Yoruba World Media, the original statement that was issued by the representative of the British High Commissioner was written by the Nigerian Ministry of External Affairs and transferred to the British High Commissioner letterhead, meaning it was a statement by Nigeria trying to deem the Yoruba Nation effort at number 10. Maybe you don't understand what has happened there. A criminal government, like we said all the time, the Nigeria criminality that continue to let you remain in that abject poverty, that makes your life miserable, that you need to then think that you would attack the diaspora so that you can survive. Many of you cannot even confront your local government and ask them questions. This fraudulent Ministry of Foreign Affairs took a letter, or a statement rather, from the British High Commissioner and then dropped it into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Abuja letterhead, and then call it their own statement that is coming from the spokesperson. You can see the crime that continue within a country that is never meant to be. So let's go back to Obasanjo because of my time. I have 12 minutes to the end of this program because we're not going to go more than 3 hours. Let's go back again and listen to Obasanjo.
One of the things that has led us to where we are today, and we haven't got out of it, is regionalism. At the time of our independence, we are probably the only country, or definitely one of the few countries in Africa that did not have one leader. At independence, we had 3 leaders.
Now, things are getting more clearer. So, from independence that I've talked about coming to 1957-58, before the fraudulent British government supported a fraudulent country called Nigeria into independence. We know this because that was revealed by the late, by the late former civil servant during the period of independence. So Obasanjo is now saying to Nigerians, there's no way you can manage Nigeria with one leader from the top, even though he was able, privileged, to enjoy it for 8 years, that he wanted to even bribe himself for the third time. But what they normally do is that when they come out of government, then they will start telling us this and that. So for a very long time, Obasanjo was deceiving us as one leader during his tenure as the president, because from what he's saying right now, that means government will not get to you if we remain under the fraudulent Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let's take more from him before we start winding down.
So we attain independence almost with three countries in one.
And that is the final straw. Maybe I will rewind that part. Obasanjo is saying in 2024 that we attain independence with three countries dropped into one, because that is the fraud that the British put on us. So why then are you arguing with Igboho? Why then are you arguing with Akintoye? Why then are you arguing with koikimedia that our right to self-determination should be truncated? At least Obasanjo is speaking the truth before he died. So you can see why the quest for a Yoruba country must not stop. Let's rewind what Obasanjo said and listen again.
At the time of our independence, we are probably the only country, or definitely one of the few countries in Africa that did not have one leader at independence. We had three leaders. So we attained independence almost with three countries in one. And that remained part of our problem.
So I'm asking Obasanjo now, if we have three countries that was dropped into one country and is part of our problem, what should be the solution? Is it regional government? Is it a restructure? Or is it a full independent Yoruba country? You can see why I took my time to explain this video from the beginning and drop it finally to Obasanjo. It is clear that a Yoruba independent country is our solution to a country that had three countries right inside it. Even if it now spread and break to many other countries, don't get panic. Malta that blend Nigeria crude oil is 500,000. So we can have 500,000 country coming out of Nigeria. But the 65 million Yoruba people are strong, can work together in one uniform as an independent culture, language, same ideology, away from the Igbos, away from the Hausas and the rest, with our own borders, with our own immigration, with our own police, with our own everything that would be called Yoruba, or you can even call it Oduduwa Republic. All that is something that we will decide, but the first thing is to pull out of the structure that had three countries inside it and then brand it as Nigeria. So what has been played out for long is that Obasanjo knew that Nigeria was branded to put and suppress the Yoruba down. That is why he preferred to be known as a Nigerian as against Oduduwa Republic, as he said in that video. I don't know if I'm going to capture that, but because of my time, I'm going to give him another 1 minute, and then I'm going to come back and complete the video in 3 hours, like I said.
for a long, long time. And it hasn't completely left us. So when you give the name of your league as Northern League of Democrats, my point would be, oh, how I wish it had been National League of Democrats. But I will also say that you have to begin from somewhere. You have to begin from somewhere. One of the things I always say is that, look, why should my being a Yoruba man, and I'm a proud Yoruba man, be in the way of my being a Nigerian? I could jolly well have been born in Sokoto. The fact that I was born in Yoruba land is not my making. It's God's making. I could jolly well have been born in Maiduguri. I will still be a Nigerian. And I do not believe that where I was born should be the enemy of my Nigerianness. And I feel, and I believe any sensible Nigerian will feel that way.
Well, you are the most senseless person to talk about we sensible Nigerians, because you told us just a few minutes ago that the Yoruba were put together in a structure that we don't have to be known as Nigeria. So why do we have to embrace what? We can embrace it because it's still a country right now. But since we have the right to self-determination, you are the most senseless person to tell us that sensible Nigeria. There's nothing called Nigeria. Obasanjo, you know that very well. And Yoruba people have been in existence before the fraudulent Nigeria was created. And that is how far I can go this morning. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. My name is Koiki. I will not start mentioning names. I'll just capture everybody and say good morning. Thank you for joining. If you're watching it again, thumbs up. Thank you so much. If you're new to the platform, subscribe and also make sure you turn on the notification bell as well. And that is how far I can go this morning. Like I said, we will probably tomorrow or day after continue with our discussion. Shout out to every one of you. And once again, shout out to my followers and listeners from around the world. Obasanjo is pacifying his paymaster who made him what he is today. Nigeria has no identity. And maybe I should just give this to Obasanjo to just complete this video briefly. That Obasanjo, your cry and your wolves is too late. Maybe you can explain this to us, Obasanjo.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.